Well, we're lucky today to have Charlie Pellerin with us, who was former Director of Astrophysics at NASA, come to talk about building high-performing teams, and he's already told the audience here much of what he's doing. Charlie, a lot of your experience stemmed from your work with the Hubble telescope,
right.
Launching it, and it went wrong. Can you just concisely say, where you started from?
Well, it's really interesting to be the leader of a team that's responsible for probably the biggest scientific screw-up in history, the building of a $1.7 billion telescope that didn't focus. And I pursued the inquiry as to what the root cause was, because I was fascinated that the failure review board said it was a leadership failure. And ultimately, I've named it as a social context. See, here's the issue. Technical teams will make mistakes. When you have thousands of people working, mistakes will happen. An egregious technical error was made, but that wasn't the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem was we created an environment where the contractor chose not to communicate any information that they could rationalize away. So we never knew of the various subtle manifestations of this problem that we could have acted on.
Yeah, so there was an individual mistake.
Right.
And I think you said earlier that this happened
right.
Very simply and very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And there were all sorts of little checks that could have happened, even
right.
some very simple ones.
That never
happened.
That's right.
To make this work. And it was only afterwards, when you've got the various medals and things from NASA
right.
for actually sending out the repair team
right.
and making it work,
right.
that you then thought, hang on, leadership was the problem. Well, what part of the leadership?
That's right.
And so what made you think that it's the team, that the team context that is the important thing?
Well, I've been exploring this subject for 15 years and looking at various things. I'm an experimental physicist by training, mm-hmm. and so I looked at what would affect team performance and did experiments with people, my consulting clients. And in the end, I found that the simplest solution to team performance and the easiest to implement is changing the team's context, because context drives behavior in all of our lives.
And what do you mean by context?
The environment.
The environment.
The environment. And so we characterize it with 4 key elements. That healthy teams, people need to feel valued. They need to feel included and belong to the team. Needs to be space and processes for creativity, and has to be organization and process. When those 4 elements are present, you have a high-performance team. We then take that into 8 behaviors that create those contexts. The behaviors are learnable and teachable, and that's what we teach people about. Then we measure the behaviors with assessments, so we're measuring the team context.
And you've seen this at NASA. I was speaking to Ed Hoffman at the APM conference,
right.
and he was saying what a wonderful thing it had been going out through all the NASA teams. You've seen a lot of changes. They've seen a lot of changes.
Yeah.
But presumably it's not just NASA that you've seen changes in.
No.
You work with other clients.
Right.
Has the same effect been seen?
Of course, yes. People are people. This gets down to the root underlying elements of basic human behavior. So I've done groups as diverse as the Colorado State Mental Health Board, a bakery, financial firms, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon. Cost of the full one is negligible if you can. Performance of a technical team with these methodologies, we typically move up about 5% efficiency. May not sound like a lot, but if you could have a program or project and you could increase your budget by 5% every 4 months, mm-hmm. Again, 5%, 5%, 5% was something that took 15 minutes a person to do and 1 hour to brief. You'd be silly not to do it.
It'd be really good.
Yeah.
Someone asked a question earlier. They said, had you correlated any of this with the project outcomes? And I think you answered that actually there's so many variables involved in this, it would be very difficult to do.
Well,
but presumably over a period, say with NASA, there should be a general correlation between improving teams and improving the outcomes.
Well, there's absolutely no question there's a correlation. That I can, I think, argue very persuasively. And I've got tons of project managers and engineering team leads that would tell you this. It directly correlates in their experience. What I can't do is a rigorous scientific analysis, because there are too many confounding variables. Even some teams we've worked with have not succeeded because the reach of the technology was way beyond the resources they had. And so It's not a panacea for everything.
And if it was a business context, it may well be just it's the wrong, it's not the right project, or it's not doable for some reason.
Any project team that the leader is motivated to do this work and committed to model the behaviors themselves, it works. Any project team, it improves performance.
So presumably what you'd say to anyone listening to this at the moment is read the book.
Read the book, yeah. The book, actually, the book's really a very candid account, which is my nature. And when I wrote the book, I thought to myself, I read restaurant reviews and things like this, and there's someone who doesn't like something. So I said, get ready for some really hard reviews. I've got about 8,000 sales now, and not a single person has said they didn't love the book. So I think you're going to find it's fun. I didn't like the title. The publisher picked the title, and by the contract, he was able to do it. My title was NASA Team Building. It's not rocket science. That's what I would have liked to have called it.
Because the implication from using NASA as the analogy, the good one is this is a good organisation.
That's right.
It's a big organisation.
That's right.
The fact that you were involved with Hubble, that everyone knows about, that's great too. But then someone would say, well, what's that got to do with my small team on this small manufacturing complex? It's all right for them, this is really big stuff. But it is worthwhile for everybody?
You know, if I write another book, and I'm not sure I will, I'm going to write on using these tools for family therapy.
Right.
Okay? Because you can do all the same things with families. How powerful would it be if you could have a family take these data and take these measurements, get this anonymous input, and look at what's going on?
That sounds like a really great idea. We look forward to the book.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank
That's
you.
great.